No, I didn't there.
Good morning. In the room and on Zoom. Happy Tuesday. Summer is here, not officially, but a lot of kids are out of school this week. Let's talk about what's going on right after this book club. So hopefully everyone read chapters 4 through 8. Is that right? Is that correct? 4 through 7.
4 through 7.
And if you didn't read, still come. It's a good discussion, and that will be right after this meeting. Okay. Next up, tomorrow, Austin is teaching about the Command website and app.
Yep. So yeah, so it's the last applet of the. Oh, this is not flipped, guys.
Yeah.
Can you see what's going on?
Oh,
We don't.
There we go.
not like that. Look.
I was like, where am I? Putting it in here.
No.
Hi. Okay. No, so this topic, it's the last applet in Command. Typically, this is the most intimidating, just because it's the website, it's everything that has to do with the consumer app, anything that's like client facing, as well as like, I don't know, just it's a lot of stuff, right? So
You can say it's the website section is the least intuitive.
it is least
section.
intuitive, but this is
So you need a little help.
But this is why, like, I'll show a lot of things that can be done, on your own, that are very well created. They provide walkthroughs of how to do certain things, but also I'll show you how you can leverage it to things like people like Scott Leroy Marketing, and they will do it for you, right? So we pay for that, and they do a lot of things when it comes to the website and helping agents fine tune it, make it look nice and everything like that. So I'll go over what it all entails, because there's a lot of buttons here and there that it goes really in depth. But essentially just creating your website and having it set up, because you set it up, you have the right keywords in the descriptions, your SEO improves, and you can then get online leads through your website.
And this is your personal branded website and your personal branded consumer app.
Yep.
Cool.
Good
2
stuff.
o'clock.
Yep.
And we have a little bit of happy congratulations in order. So Ted and Lauren, if you're listening, they are getting married this weekend, both awesome agents here. So congratulations to Ted and Lauren. We are excited for you and your wedding and honeymoon. And then
Wait, hold on.
What?
They're like the cutest couple.
are like the
Like, I mean,
cutest couple.
there's a
You know,
lot
look
of cute
at the
couples. Like, I don't want to
picture.
take anything from anybody else, but like,
No,
they're adorable.
Like
Yeah,
really cute.
yeah,
Look at that.
yeah.
It's like two people that really
They,
like
yeah.
each other.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
enjoy being around each
Yeah,
other.
they're not faking that. That's not just good photography. That's like that's any moment you see the two of them gazing at each other. It's like how they get anything done gazing at each other like that. I don't know. They're highly productive people.
Okay, well, I hope they're listening,
Yeah.
not stressing out for the wedding. But
Mhm.
congratulations, Ted and Lauren. And then congratulations to Bradley King, who is graduating this weekend, who has been working full-time more than 40 hours a week, like many of you work, right? And finishing his college degree at Portland State. So he graduates this weekend, and we're excited for him. And Austin did his baby, his first
Yeah.
headshot, second headshot, right? The evolution of age.
Yeah.
As you get into what you say. Business. Finance. Mhm.
Great.
So congratulations, Bradley.
Yeah, I was like writing on this card and I was like thinking about like what an accomplishment it is to graduate college while learning how to do real estate at a high level full time. Like from where he started to where he is. I'm just like, I kind of want to be Bradley when I grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just proof that
Yeah.
age is a limiting belief.
that is. And
Mhm.
I guess time is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that last weekend or this weekend?
This upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, next up. We will be closed on this upcoming Monday, June 19th, in honor of Juneteenth. And we have been closed the last couple of years in the state of Oregon and nationally. It is a federal holiday too for timelines on contracts. So we wanted to just take a minute to talk about what is Juneteenth. So the Emancipation Proclamation was made effective in 1863 and ended slavery, but it could not be implemented in places still under Confederate control. So freedom finally came on June 19th, 1865, when 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas, and announced that the last 250 enslaved Black people in the state were free by executive decree. So, this day became known as Juneteenth in honor of the full end of slavery, right? So, it was the second Independence Day for many Americans, more than 150 years after slavery officially ended in Texas. A bill was signed in 2021 that set aside Juneteenth as a federal holiday. And then Oregon followed suit after that. So I think it's important not just to honor that holiday, but to also understand it.
Absolutely.
In case some people don't. So also we will be closed, so you can still use your key fob, but staff will not be here. Okay. And then next week we have, so no CE class this week. Next week we will have one sponsored by Fidelity Title, navigate the complexities of the title report to protect your client's interests. So this is going to be a great class for new agents, for seasoned agents, for everyone in between. They're going to just really be digging in on what things to look for in a preliminary title report, and just understanding what kind of red flags there are and things just to be aware of.
Mhm.
So lunch will be provided. So register if you can, just to get a count. And next Wednesday, the 21st at 11.
Yeah, don't just rely on your escrow officer to read this and let you know if there's an issue, because if you do that, you're going to set yourself up for some surprises, because they're fallible, they make mistakes. So
And unfortunately, I think a lot of people do that.
a lot of people
Just rely on
do
their
that.
title.
Yep, a lot of people do that. And so I've seen some issues come back, and like title issues, they're big deals. Like they're really hard to cure. They're not just like, oh, we could just spend $1,000 and get the house
Right.
painted or something. Like these are
It's like
big,
they don't have,
big,
they can't sell
complicated,
the house.
right? You've
because-
got to track people down after the fact. Once it's really complicated, and if there's a problem, the person who cures it usually has a lot of leverage to do it. So yeah, they're big deals.
Good point.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of sales in my career where I've sold older homes, and it was obvious that there was no active homeowners association, and there weren't CC&Rs. We wouldn't expect CC&Rs that would apply. And then when we ordered the CC&Rs, we learned things that changed the deal.
Mhm.
And so, when the prelim comes, you always should read through every single line of it to make sure that the taxes are consistent with what's being reported by the agent, to make sure that if there is an HOA, you get a copy of the documents, make sure that there aren't any encroachments. We always look for encroachments, because that's one that'll trip you up in underwriting if you don't catch it yourself. And I've seen loan officers miss it. Like they take an application and they file it, and the prelim comes in, and all of a sudden, you're past the home inspection, and someone calls and says there's an encroachment on this property that has to be taken care of. And somebody built a fence on the wrong side, be all kinds of things that can keep the deals from closing. So should be standard policy to read every prelim and make sure you understand it. And we often get plats on properties and we don't even understand where the easements are. So the first thing we do is send them back to the title company and say, highlight the easements so we can tell what number 1, 2, or not 1 or 2. It's usually like 13, 14, 15, and 16 are.
Mhm. Good
So
stuff.
we actually know which one is which.
So be
That's good
there
stuff.
next week, 11 a.m. in this room. You don't have to register. It just helps with the food count. Okay, next up. Headshots next week on Thursday. So we are paying to have our photographer that's coming a couple times, Randy Lundberg, and she'll be doing them in this room. But please sign up for a time slot just so everyone's so you don't have to wait in line.
It's only 7 available.
There's only 7 spots left, so sign up. It's a great opportunity to freshen your look.
You keep looking at me every time you say
I know, I don't know why.
that.
Want me to send you up?
Maybe.
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 Sign Kelly up, sign Kelly up. So for that, you do need to register, just because space is limited. Okay, then I want to give a big congratulations to our top producers year to date. This is through May. So Stacy Hartzler rounding out number 1 at over 10 million in sales volume. And then we have Pam Waldman, Laura James, Cricket Forsey, Rita Wolf, and Bradley King. We threw Bradley up there, to break up the streak of all the ladies just done.
For the fella.
So
For the fella.
presenting the fella.
Yeah.
Well, it was like really, really close. So plazas are top individual agents. And then next up is our top teams and groups. So the office of Daryl Bodel, you're reading that, wait, 63 million? Is that what I'm reading? That almost sounds crazy. 63 million year to date. So we're only through May. And then Fox Real Estate Group with their expansion team, they're at 67 million year to date. So wild. I mean, that is impressive. Team Schwab, 24 million.
Look at
Clark
Team
Group,
Schwab boat race a car group.
I
We
know,
are
look at you
separating
guys.
ourselves, like
Yes, we
we're
are.
gonna lap the Clark
I
group
know.
in September.
Right? That. Wow, that's impressive. The Clark Group and Holmes Team Homes rounding out the top 5. Round of applause to our teams and groups.
To be fair, they might be boat racing, but that number the Clark group's putting up is still mighty good.
Oh my
It is
god,
really good.
yeah.
That's what makes it so good, is like to beat that something.
You know, and we put all teams and
Yeah.
groups are all together regardless
Yeah.
of the size, right? But so impressive work. for
Very
everyone
impressive,
up there.
very impressive.
Okay, Josh from Academy is going to give us a lending update and tell us about some products, all the things.
Right. So I passed out. All right, so I passed out this flyer here. We actually call this our bank turn down flyer, but it is a solutions for your clients. And the reason why we call it our bank turn down flyer is because you go to your bank or even like an online lender, they sort of stay within their box, right? So a lot of them, they can do conventional. Some banks, some credit unions can do some Gubby loans, VA, FHA. Some of them won't touch Gubby loans, but they can all pretty much do conventional style loans, but they have a lot of overlays as well. So an overlay is additional rules that they add to lending over and above the agency guidelines. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac being the agencies, Gubby agencies, FHA, VA, USDA, so HUD agencies. They all have their rules, and then the banks add additional overlays to that to make it even more restrictive. So we've actually marketed several bank loan officers with this flyer, and have had good results because they get a lot of turn downs. Sometimes people will go in there and they're like, oh, I want to buy a house. Okay, the tellers, let's go talk to our mortgage person. They do. They get turned down just because they don't fit that sort of narrow box that you see from a bank, or even, like I said, sometimes a lot of online lenders. So I wanted to share this with you to show sort of the broad range of products that we can offer. It doesn't stop with this, but there's only so much we can put on the flyer. For example, we've got the cannabis income up there for W-2. We can do those under Fannie Mae loans for employees, but we also now have W-2 or have income for owners. So, lending options for owners that take income from ownership of that type of solution. So lots of great options. We've got farm loans, hobby farm loans. We can do reverse mortgage, medical professional, 100% financing, non-permanent resident options. We've got 3% jumbo down, on and on. We've got lots of different solutions. So if you've got clients who may be struggling with, not fitting in the box, gosh, they really, credit union people love their credit union. Sometimes it's like a cult. Sometimes, oh, I only want to go to my credit union. I love it. It's, crazy. Well, they go in there and maybe the love is reciprocated, right? So, send them our way, say, it's great. You can still love your credit union. We love them too, but, if they're not, going to help you out here, then how can we help them? So folks that need some credit repair, some credit rescoring help, we can help with that as well. Get them where they need to go so that they can buy their first house. And definitely be looking at those first-time home buyers right now. A lot of folks that own their house right now are struggling with, wanting to leave that house because they've got that low interest rate. So the inventory that's out there, a lot of the approved buyers that we have been getting are first-time home buyers that are not attached to an existing home, or somebody who is going to convert their existing home into a rental to buy their next one. So let us help get them there. One of them I have up there that's not up there, should be on there. We've got bridge financing in the form of, we've got a few different options for that. My favorite one's to cross collateral. I've got one I'm doing right now for somebody who wouldn't qualify to carry both homes on their own, but they can qualify for the end result. So they don't have to qualify to carry both homes, just what they plan to have as their final mortgage, which is going to be about a $300,000 loan. In the meantime, they're going to have, like a $600,000 loan because they're utilizing the equity from their departing property, which is paid off, to help buy the new home. So they only have to income qualify and show reserves enough to cover the payment until they sell their departing property.
Cool.
So it's a great option for them. They're able to buy non-contingent. We're running it through underwriting up front, so that normally that loan takes a little longer because you have to get 2 appraisals of departing property, but we're going to run it through underwriting first so that we can speed up the process, so we can offer a faster close on that as well. So
Hey, Josh, what is ITIN?
ITIN loans. So somebody who is here and legally able to work, but maybe they don't have a social security number. Okay. Like a foreign national,
Oh, cool.
Perhaps. So
Sweet.
we've got some solutions for them as well.
Cool.
Any other questions on this particular
Or like a
flyer?
work visa? Could they buy something on a work visa? That'd be interesting.
So if somebody's got an EAD card
Yeah,
with a history of renewals,
okay.
and they've got at least a 2-year window before it expires. So yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Mhm. So now
That's interesting.
there are different rules for different, there's, you pull up the different types of visas and it's a very long list.
Yeah,
And so there's different rules attached to each, something we review each time, make sure, we're putting them in the right solution. Mhm.
Can they get citizenship too? Like easier if they buy property, right? Isn't that like that?
I don't know that I
I
can
think
answer
there
that.
I think there is. Isn't there? Is there something like that?
I don't know.
I thought we remember that like in commercial summit or something.
Yeah.
I might be on something else.
Austin, you want to flip over to the next one I sent you?
And do you have digital copies of this if people want it?
Yes, absolutely, and I can put I can even, I don't know if this one I can co-brand or not, but I probably can, so. This is today's, on the far right, you'll see today's result of of where sort of mortgage bonds are, which is directly related to where rates are. It's a 6-month trend. As you can see, obviously in the last 6 months, things have been very volatile.
Yeah.
You want this bar to be higher. The higher it is, generally the better for rates. And you can see where it is right now. It's right in the middle of sort of where the last 6 months have been. So rates are still in the 6s. However, today we did get an inflation report showing that inflation has started to improve, meaning come down, not as much as we'd like, because housing and car sales continue to be strong, which is great, but we want inflation to continue to come down a little bit. So it's not coming down as quick as we like, but it is showing improvement. So year over year, when July comes out again, we should see continued improvement. And so marginally, we should see this continue to improve, which is great overall
That's good news.
for us. So any questions for me?
It came out at 4%, right?
Yeah.
Inflation
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
Yeah,
It did.
for something. But
Yeah, so hold on here. It breaks it down a little bit farther. So came down from 4.9 to 4 is the headline. Now the core came from 5.5 to 5.3, and the core includes things like used cars, motor vehicle insurance, shelter cost, rent, includes lodging away, and energy. So the headline looks a little bit better than the core, and the core is what sort of mortgage bonds react to. And so that's why it's not improving as quickly as we'd like. And it's because that core reading, isn't improving quite as quickly. But every month we should see that gap widen a little bit.
Yeah.
That's sort of the expectation.
The markets are all up today on that news, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
that should help the bond market.
Yes, so, and then we'll see what the Fed decides to do later this week. Knock on wood. So Chad, anything you want to add?
No. Just be great to see rates come down.
Well, yes. Yes.
That's all.
Mhm.
Hey.
Sounds great.
One thing I will add, hit it back to the product list that Josh was running through, is that we also recently just picked up an outstanding commercial vendor. So any type of commercial solutions you're looking for, we've got a solution of $5 million.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
And they are looking for ways to get money out on the street, and they have a heavy appetite, and we'd love to help do some deals.
That's cool.
And that includes DSCR up to 8plex.
Yes, it does.
Mhm. Okay.
Cool. So on Zoom, if you didn't hear that, Academy now has a partner for commercial loans.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thanks.
Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Okay, so we were doing the broker's corner on these calls for a while, and we kind of got out of the habit, but
Mhm.
Kelly, we're excited for you to teach us something
Okay,
that you've been seeing
okay.
in our paperwork.
I'd like to learn it too. I'm in this slide. We're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, remember I sent you the slides?
Oh.
Just gonna wing,
Okay,
just gonna wing
I
it.
was like, do we need to tell a joke?
Just gonna wing it.
I'm heading away. Well,
Okay.
It's dependent on the slide.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Slideshow. Current slide. Coming up on the wrong one.
yeah, we have a Father's Day joke.
I know. Father's Day is this weekend.
Yeah.
Don't forget
Okay.
your fathers.
Cool, so
Okay.
you guys are all gonna probably think this is a little bit nitpicky, but like, there's a reason why I bring these things up. And it's like, I was talking to one of you the other day, it was in this room, they're talking about, we're talking about a situation they were dealing with. And and they said, oh, well, I've got a good relationship with them, so I'm not too worried about that. Well, the problem is those relationships are only as good as a transaction. When things start going sideways, people start getting nitpicky. So that's why we need to pay attention to our language and our contract. So I'm gonna get nitpicky, and this first one here, Austin, is.
Drum roll.
Dun, 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 dun.
So hard to do. Okay, so this is in the RA, okay, personal property on the following personal property and as its condition and a no stated value is included as seen on the walkthrough by buyers on 4/25/2023. So what personal property is being conveyed with this sale?
Right.
No,
Could be
I do that.
anything. It could be anything.
Could be anything, right? Right, so, well, what do you think the expectations for the party is regarding this? You're assuming there's a conversation that
Yeah.
somebody probably had where they're conveying, I'm guessing they're conveying all of the personal property in the house. But that doesn't work, okay? So as a seller's broker, how would you address this term? If you receive this, what would you say to your clients?
And my clients are to the other.
If you're the seller, how would you explain this to your client? As a seller's broker?
I think I would explain that it's too ambiguous and we need to narrow this down before we sign anything.
Right.
And I would have that conversation with the seller to make sure I understand what they're willing to convey and then go back to that agent.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think consequences will be if this is ignored?
yeah. I don't know.
Like somebody showing up and being like super
Pissed.
surprised.
They
pissed,
think
right?
that something's gonna be there and it's not.
That's not,
Exactly, yeah, right, so.
but then how would they defend that either?
They can't.
They couldn't.
Like, say the fridge as an example, right? And then the fridge
There's
is
no way
gone.
to say.
How would they come back and say you owe me $1,200 for the bridge?
That's good that you asked that, because,
Right.
right, think about these scenarios where if it was in a.
Yeah.
If there was a dispute.
Yeah.
Is it clear enough
Mhm.
to hold up, right? So even if you know what it means, right, I mean,
Yeah.
that one's very ambiguous.
Yeah.
But even if it's slightly ambiguous,
Yeah.
right?
So like, now let's put ourselves in the buyer's agent shoes. You wrote this term and you thought you had a clear understanding with the listing agent. The listing agent comes back to you and says, what the heck does this mean? And now you have to have a conversation with your clients about what you wrote. Does that give them a lot of like trust in you and no confidence, right?
No.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so don't do that. All right, next one. Okay, this is the additional financing provisions, right? So the sale of the house is contingent on the final mortgage approval. What's wrong with that? Whose mortgage? What's a mortgage? We don't do mortgages. You.
Sales.
No trustees.
We do no trustees, right? So,
This is already addressed in the contract.
it is already entrusted. Well, is it? Because I don't know whose mortgage are they talking about the mortgage on a different property? They're talking about this property?
Oh, yeah,
Right, it's so vague,
But
right?
the
So what was the
Congress
buyer
know in your
mortgage when they accomplished by
contracts.
this term?
yeah,
Something that's probably already accomplished in section 5.1, right? The
right,
sale is contingent upon the buyer in the property qualifying for the loan from lender, right? Okay, so, and then what is final mortgage, again, what is final mortgage approval, actually? What is that?
Right.
Who's approving it?
yeah,
Is the buyer approving it? Is it the lender actually giving the money? Is that approval? Is it the escrow agent? Is it their attorney's approval? Right, so bad, right? That doesn't work, okay? And how would you fix this? If I was a listing agent on this, I would strike this from the sale agreement. I would not have it be part of my deal.
Yep.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
so would you go back and have them rewrite it, or would you?
I would, in a
Addendum.
seller's counter offer, I would say, section 8 of this agreement is not part of this, I'm just
Yeah.
striking somehow. I'm
Yeah,
saying lines
gotcha.
30, 132 and 138 are not part of the sale agreement. Because it doesn't make sense. One, it's redundant. I might have a conversation with the buyer's agent to figure out what they were trying to accomplish. But again, it sucks because now, even if all the terms of the agreement are good, I gotta send over a seller's counter offer, and I'm gonna embarrass that agent in the process, right? It's not my fault, but they're gonna be embarrassed. But I can't have that term live, because I don't know what it means. And so I'm gonna embarrass them, it puts them on their heels. It's not really where you want your relationship with that agent to go. If it's all their fault, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
Yeah, so call them when you send it back.
Yeah, call them first and let them know that
Yeah.
you're correcting their error. Just say, hey, I'm not quite sure what you meant by this, but it's a little too vague for us. We're gonna strike it and put something else there. All right, the last one. Okay, this is actually a fun one. So, we actually have an ongoing issue with this term right here. So the buyer did not want to buy a house that had knob and tube wiring in it. They sent over a repair request saying remove all knob and tube wiring from the house, which is a big yes. They said no, and they came back with this term here. So we'll have a licensed and bonded, which L&B, what does that mean?
yeah, that could have been the name of the contract, yeah.
Exactly, it's ludicrous, right? So it's also already in the agreement that. So we'll have a L&B electrician remediate knob and tube wiring found in the attic. Semicolon, install cover plates for junction boxes as delineated in buyer's home inspection report. So what I will tell you is what the seller meant to say was not using that semicolon because they only wanted to do the knob and tube wiring that was delineated in the attic, that was delineated in the inspection report. They only wanted to do the boxes that were shown in the inspection report. But they put a semicolon,
Colon, yeah,
right? So
That
that
changes.
stops that whole thought, right? That stops and carries on. And so, when we did our re-inspection, we complained about it, said, no, we did exactly what we said we were gonna do. And then we had to go back and explain the use of the semicolon to
Yeah.
that, so that sellers, the buyer, sellers.
Jaelle and I were like just having this conversation about grammar and punctuation.
It's-
and
How it's
it-
important,
It feels
yeah.
like nobody.
Nobody considers
uses it,
right?
or they are capitalizing terms that shouldn't be
Like,
capitalized.
making stuff up.
Yeah, and you're just like, what is this?
Yeah, it's dangerous, right? So, okay, so the seller had one idea about what this meant. There's another idea about what this meant, but since the seller wrote the term, Does that impact the understanding in any way? Because the seller wrote it, the buyer's understanding of it is paramount to theirs. So if you're writing a term, you have to write it so the other party can understand it, because their understanding of the term is, it's called construction. The legal term is construction. And so, because you constructed it, it's your responsibility to write something that is understandable. And if it's not, the other party's understanding of it may trump your understanding. So, in this case, they screwed up big time.
That's a good example.
Yeah,
There's a really good example.
yeah.
These are all real.
These are all real.
These are all real.
Yeah, and this one is actually an issue, like this one could end up in court. So, all right, thank you all.
That's good stuff.
Thanks.
So just a reminder, if you are unsure of anything on your contracts, show Kelly sooner than later.
Sooner than
Ask
later.
Kelly sooner
Yeah,
than later.
so you can't unring
And
the
if
bell,
something,
guys.
the overall sentiment of today's lesson was, if it's unclear,
Every time. Like-
make sure it's clear.
I can't tell you, like, since I've taken this role, I used to write addendums and I've always been pretty good at writing them. They're all 5 times as long as they used to be, because I'm starting to think of like, oh wait, you have to address this, you have to address that. You can't just assume that everybody understands what you're talking about. And you have to think about almost,
Worst
it's,
case scenario.
it is, and you almost have to work backwards, right? You have to think about the end results and then you have to work backwards to make sure that what you're writing accounts for all those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks, Kelly. Okay, next up, we're gonna have 2 of our agent guests come up, Jaelle and Julie. And we're gonna talk about networking groups. So a lot of you guys do networking groups to get business. And so they created a networking group and have grown it and are gonna tell us all about it. Come on up, guys. You wanna come to the other side?
Either way.
Okay.
Oh, question.
Okay.
Oh, questioner. Did we
So-
look this morning on how many members we have?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, welcome,
I
you
didn't
guys. Okay, how many, so tell everyone, what's the name of your networking group?
So it is Women Real Estate Investors of Oregon.
I love
Mhm.
that. And
Oh, I
when,
forgot my sign.
I
That's okay.
know, when did you guys create this, and tell everyone the story?
So
How many
it
members
was,
it
it was
started?
a little bit of a joint creation. I had started, I'm part of a nationwide mentorship group called Women Real Estate Investors Network. And I joined that about a year ago. And I wanted to connect with some of the local women that were also in that group. And we didn't really have a Facebook group. So I started one, but it didn't get a whole lot of traction.
Yeah.
And then when Julie and I started doing business together, and she and I started to go to some of the networking events around town, we noticed there was a lack of
Female presence.
female presence.
It's kind of the guys club a little bit.
In these investment
In
groups?
investment
Okay.
groups, yeah.
And so we kind of talked about, well, I already have this little group started. What if we expand its
Expand it.
purpose? And that's what we did. And we started just kind of the 2 of us and the 13 gals that I had recruited originally. And now we're at 227 members.
227.
So we went from like,
4 or 5 months later.
We kind of kicked it off in February with a February meetup. And from February till June, yeah.
How many people came in February?
Our very first meeting, we had 22 or 23.
Sounds right.
I mean, from the get-go,
Mhm.
we've had over 20 at every
Mhm.
meeting.
Mhm.
But it was really interesting how this kind of formed, where we kind of had this aha moment in the office, which this is why you should be in the office, to be honest, right? Or you would not have these connections
would
with
not.
people. Because we originally, when we both started at KW, had decided, and we kind of created a 12-month plan of events. We were like, we are going to be event focused. And so we did the CFM event last September. So it was separate from this Investors of Oregon, but we knew we wanted to have a presence with events. And this actually, it just had the perfect little, jump into this networking group. And we had every single month, we've had over 20. Last Thursday, we had 29. So, and it's not always the same people, which is the coolest part about it. I mean, we kind of get the core like 12 or 15, and then we have all these new faces that So the energy is always super exciting
It's
because
always good energy.
it's all these people that you're meeting and connecting with, and we've brought in, oh my gosh, every aspect of real estate you could think of. Right? We have title, we have lenders, we have construction, female construction,
Property management.
property management, agents or
Yeah,
brokers,
yeah.
and
We're hoping to have a lawyer come in and
Mhm.
speak on some of the off-market transactions that
mhm.
happen in the real estate investing world.
yeah,
Can be a resource for us.
yeah, it's been great.
Now,
Awesome.
like, sorry to interrupt, but neither of you have like a big background in commercial real estate though, right?
Nothing in commercial.
Not commercial, no.
We're
But it's
focused.
investing, right? I mean, it's like,
It
so
is. I
this
mean,
is
my
really
husband
cool.
and I flipped a house
Yeah.
and we renovate almost every house we live in,
Yeah.
which has been like 8, by the way, but
Yeah.
that's, I mean,
I think that's so cool.
that's all we're
That's
committed
great.
with.
Yeah.
So you have your monthly meetings
Mhm.
and you're bringing in guest speakers, so it's not you guys aren't providing all the content, right? You're bringing
Correct.
different
We bring in a
valuable
guest
speakers.
speaker and we also always have a featured vendor.
Mhm.
That way it doesn't
Mhm.
cost us anything.
Yep.
Oh.
So the featured vendor brings beverages and snacks.
Yep.
We always have a bottle of wine left over from something that we've done.
Yep.
And so
That's
it doesn't
great.
cost us anything.
And then you have the Facebook group also.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
these are all women who are interested in investing in real estate. So like,
yes.
think about that, right? And
Mhm.
all of those people. So then talk about some of your, like, when you're actually networking, how are you getting everyone's contact info? How are you following up? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, we played with a couple of different ideas. We've got a Google Sheet that's in the Facebook group that people can add their contact and kind of detail what aspects of investing that they want to be a part of. That way you know who you can connect with for certain things. But even last time, Jaelle had a great idea. We got huge Post-it notes and she taped them up against the wall and was like, are you a buyer? Put your name here. Are you an investor or like
A wholesaler.
wholesaler, or do you have money?
Right? Are you a lender?
Yeah, oh, it's behind us there.
Oh, yeah, it
Oh
is.
my
behind
gosh, I
us.
love that.
It's really a great way
Great idea.
Without, corporate America and teaching comes
Yeah.
out to me every once in a while. My past lives.
but it was really great. So you can't see it, but I'm a buyer, that
Oh, it was packed.
it was packed. It was all the way where people were like squishing on the side. There were so many people in that room that were ready to buy something. And so it kind of, another jump into how it's really, we can quantify that value is that I've already got a couple of these ladies that I've met with and I will write all their offers.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking for investment properties, rentals or other, and I'm now their agent. So got a couple clients from that and
And I have as well. I have a gal that reached out to me. She wanted to buy an on-market investment property. We went and
Mhm.
looked at several. We wrote a couple different offers. She ended up buying something off market, but I know, potentially when it comes times to sell, she's going to come back to me and also to purchase other on-market properties in the future.
yeah.
And then I have kind of a friend that I've made through that group and she's referred me to 2 just clients, just retail
Mhm.
clients. So
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
it's definitely
Yeah.
And that's a
been
good
good for our
reminder
business, too.
that it's not just the people who are coming to the events, it's then you're showing your credibility to them.
Mhm.
And then they're referring you to their network because they're in totally different groups
Yeah.
and circles.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What does your follow-up look like? Or are you kind of like, how are you telling everyone you're in real estate and happy to help them as clients? Are you being like in your face about that, subtle? Like, what does that look like?
I don't know, we have a plan yet.
social media. We
Mhm.
certainly, we created an Instagram channel just for our own investment adventures. I think
Adventure,
it's called
yeah.
like, Julie and Jaelle's REI adventures,
And that builds that credibility.
Yep. And so they see us on the site, her with a chainsaw or me with a
was
hammer,
fun.
whatever it is we're doing that day. And so we're just built, they can see that we are active investors and it does give us credibility, like you said. And
Yeah.
I think, people now come to us as a resource and I don't know all the answers. Like I'm just
But we
me,
can connect them.
but then we just connect
Mhm.
because we've because we kind of own the group, I guess, and we see who joins and we try to make sure to talk and meet everybody.
Mm.
You know, somebody made a post this morning, like, do you know? I don't know.
Something
I
about
don't remember
seller,
what the question was.
it was something about seller financing and I had never heard it before, but other ladies who are more experienced, have more knowledge, were able to help chime in. I mean, it's a really
And you
great,
just tag the person in the group that you know has the
Yeah.
answer.
yeah.
Dwight knows a lot about seller
Have you
finance.
been to the seller financing class?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I can't tag you in the group. But we have invited the ladies to your
To your
to your
class.
wealth building class. And
Okay.
we,
Yes.
so,
That seems perfect.
yes, that's been wonderful.
And I just want to thank the leadership of the office and just having this space available has made it so conducive and easy. It's a breeze because we just come here, we literally fill every seat. Last,
so cool.
last Thursday, I had to pull some more chairs from back here. And I did my little prayer not to break the sign, you know, when I.
I
moved
know
the
we
sign.
hit him back there.
I know.
Good idea.
But it really makes it so easy that this space is available, that it doesn't cost anything. We did have a lady going, hey, why don't we go to the east side? And happily, but we need a space that has technology available and that
Yeah.
we're not gonna pay for because we're not asking any kind of like membership dues or anything like that. It's all free. We want no, hurdles, no access issues. We just want people to come and network. So,
Yes, that's great. And we're happy to host
yeah.
your
Thank you for
networking groups and
Yeah.
things like that. And
Yeah.
just get on the.
And you're happy to be guest speaker.
I'm
Thank
the
you
guest
for being our
speaker.
guest
Yeah.
speaker next month.
I know pressure's on, but no, I'm
I love it.
excited
It'll
to
be
be
good.
a guest
Yeah.
speaker for that.
Good.
Any other tips you would give, anyone who's starting a networking group, maybe not for investing, but for just anything?
Anything. I would do it with somebody.
Yes.
So
it
it's
helps
not
that it's
all
not
on you. Find a buddy and you'll have more fun.
And I guess the other thing is just like, it's a long game, you know, and,
Yeah, good point.
you know, I've said this to you a couple of times, you know, it wasn't, 6 weeks ago that I was in your office saying, oh my gosh, I think I need to get a job. And now I'm like so busy, I don't even have time to do laundry. And it's just, it's one of those things where it's the long game, like, whether it's, the disc golf or frisbee golf, I apologize, I don't know, like whatever I'm too busy to think right now. Not complaining, but like whatever the approach is, like just be true to it.
Yeah.
It took months before you and I were starting to get those calls or, hey, my friend is moving from Hawaii, but that's okay, right?
Yeah.
It's come. And so we just do our thing and we try and add value.
Well,
And
when
we
I'm,
just give it
Laying
time.
bricks,
Yeah.
right?
Laying the
and what I'm
bricks.
hearing, I'm guessing the success of this because you've done it, but that's how many months you've done it now?
Just since May, or I
Okay.
mean,
Since
February,
February,
so
so
5 months.
5 months. So that's 5 months of bringing value,
Yeah.
right? Like, because nobody would show up if you didn't bring value, and it's growing. It started with what, 2013, and now it's
15, yeah.
200, and
Yeah.
I mean that you're bringing a lot of value.
Every day we get a
Yeah.
request from
Yeah.
someone to join.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. So yeah, not
Oh,
only
absolutely,
200
every
years
day.
growing.
We're growing. And I think for me, laying the bricks is great. And then also I think one of the takeaways for me is that I don't have to be the one who knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's daunting in this business. You do feel like you need to know so much, and especially when you're starting out, and just being open to letting other people essentially train you. Like this is on the job training type to me, right?
Yeah.
Every month
sure.
that we have a meeting. We did talk about, do we let other agents in? And we had a long conversation about it. And I was like, why wouldn't we? We are going to learn so much.
Mhm.
Because we talked about, do we want all the business for us? Do we want to be the only 2 agents? So everything funnels to us. And we really thought that's not kind of the purpose. The purpose is to see all these women succeed.
It's a good
And
mindset.
because there's
really
other agents
abundant
yes,
mindset.
at different brokerages that have gotten connections in the group. And we're trying to kind of track it to make sure we can quantify that value, but it is so exciting to see that when they come to the group and they stand up for their like 2 minutes and say, so-and-so and I did a deal. And it's just great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is cool.
It
They're like
is.
our little children.
Well, by bringing the value by bringing the information,
Yeah.
facilitating that, you are actually setting yourself up as the expert, as someone who maybe doesn't have the answer in their pocket, but
Yeah.
has the answer a phone call away,
Yeah.
right? And that's
Yes. Yeah.
that's what people want. Like, that's
Making
really
those
cool.
connections.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's the
Being
top
that-
of mind.
Yeah, it's the
Absolutely.
top of mind and
Mhm.
being that choice.
Yeah.
And, you know, like we did an event at Globe Lighting. It
Oh,
was
that was
so
awesome.
fun. The general manager, you know, came that night and like ended up sending this really heartfelt thank you to his whole team at
Oh.
Globe Lighting for this event that we did, for it being such a success. And I think my favorite part is when I see women in the group post on their personal pages a
Mhm.
picture of Globe or a picture of, and we're starting to see that, you know, like, oh, met with all these local ladies. It was such a fun night,
Oh,
learned
yes.
so much. And like, I think that's what really warms my heart and makes
love
me
that.
feel like we're
Yeah.
doing something good.
Yeah, and that was such a great event. And
Oh, it
they
was.
treated us so well. I mean, they gave away prizes. I mean, it was amazing.
And
So,
because they're a partner of ours and then same with
Mhm.
CFM, did you guys have to, what did they provide for you? And what did you have to
Everything.
pay for?
we just brought the people. It was a few emails back and forth to make sure that the time is right and kind of what we were looking for. And they were very open to what we, you know, our suggestions. And then it was just a great night. And CFM we did it in September before this group last year, and we'll do it again. We're gonna take this group to CFM again in September, so.
Well, yeah, Globe Lighting did everything. One of their employees made, oh, I'm gonna make myself say the word,
Yep.
charcuterie.
Well said.
I was like, what's she gonna say?
Hey,
right now?
I know.
What's it
I'm
they
gonna
make?
wrap it out saying this word. It's just one of the ones that doesn't compute. But one of the employees there made these gorgeous boards
was
and they had a local
phenomenal.
winery bring in wine. In fact, Sammy, we hired to serve, which was really super cool. And it was just, again, I mean, some ladies like, I mean, I didn't have to paint my bathroom. I could have just changed the light bulb and
Yeah,
like,
oh my gosh.
everybody learned stuff. It was really,
That is so cool.
Such
So you
good-
guys are doing a great job of leveraging
Yeah.
the resources with our partners, the office here, and then having vendors sponsor for the food and
Mhm.
drinks. So
I
you're
can't
not
wait to do
very
CFM.
CFM's gonna be, it's gonna be out the door.
because they're
People-
used to throwing parties. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good one.
And tell everyone how long you each have been in the business.
Oh my gosh, me since March of last year, so not very long at all. My brother and I bought a fourplex about 5 years ago now and had renovated. That's down in California, but that's really besides buying my own houses, my only other experience in real
And
estate,
You and I met through Ignite this,
Mhm.
like in spring last year.
like April or May.
I
Yeah.
officially got licensed in Oregon in June but I first got licensed in Kansas City in 2020. So just
Yeah.
3 years and then the stuff my husband and I have done on the investment side.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, you guys. Well, thank
It's
you
so
for
fun.
We
sharing.
have to do a quick we have a house on the market that we
Oh, yeah.
renovated.
plug. You can just plug.
Yeah.
So we do have a house on the market in Sellwood, so reach out to Jaelle if you guys have any interested buyers, and then.
Is that your one that you guys flipped?
Yeah.
Okay,
we
tell
re-
everyone about that.
Yeah,
just
go for it,
fun.
I mean.
No,
Jaelle is
you
like-
tell the story.
Oh my
Her
gosh.
name's Molly Sue.
Yeah, the house's name is Molly Sue. We got her through a wholesaler and she had foundation issues, all kinds of problems. Got her for just a phenomenal price and we put about $100,000 into her full reno, foundation, siding, did everything floor to ceiling, you know, all new drywall inside.
And this
Got-
has been great content for
Yeah.
your group.
It
this whole time,
absolutely
too.
has.
got all that knob and tube removed, right,
Yeah.
when the walls were open, so
Uh-huh.
there's no issues.
Yeah.
But it's been so fun for us, and building our relationship and, yeah, and then building this network, it's just been a really nice segue to that. She is on the market and, oh yeah, here's some before, oh, you can,
Oh, yay, this is
Oh,
it.
before and afters. Wait, let's see a before.
I have some before.
I love before and after.
There's
Oh,
the
yeah.
before. Oh, yay.
Oh my
Go
gosh.
to the after now. Doesn't even look like the same house.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud to say
So
the
pretty.
flooring is from Contract Furnishing Smart
Yep.
and the lighting is from Globe
Globe.
Lighting. Like
Yep.
we actually got to experience that and
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we got great prices.
Great
I-
prices.
It
Yeah.
was wonderful.
Yes, yeah.
What a cool too, like it's just a great content.
Oh, that's what is, oh yeah, it's just a funky little house, but she's awesome. I don't know, she's a cool house. I'm glad it was a first.
Carrie, you guys can do another one.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
will. And then, if there's any female agents that want to be part of our group, we're on Facebook. So just, you know, all agents or anyone that you can think of is welcome.
Awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Does anyone have any
Congratulations, yeah.
questions for Julie and Jill before we let them off the hook?
Right?
Oh my, and I love those
Yeah,
pictures. So
You can just tell.
congratulations on
You're
what you've
welcome.
created.
Yeah, well
I mean,
done.
what
Yeah.
if- you know, we always talk about like the way you generate your business and your leads should be something enjoyable, right? Like whatever
Mhm.
that is to you, if it's doing open houses.
But it
or,
makes
you
it
know.
easier to execute when you enjoy it.
Right,
Yeah.
but like creating these networking events, it's just one
Mhm.
thing. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
we've had
guys.
fun.
Thank you for presenting. And thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your week. And for those of you at book club, we will see you in the front
Yep.
room today, room
Front
one.
row.
That's a wrap.